Hello. So we are starting with the new part of our fourth series, that is IaaS infrastructure as a service and hybrid cloud. In this part, we'll see orchestration and virtualization, as well as we'll see content delivery network. In orchestration and virtualization, we also see how Eucalyptus and Amazon forms a hybrid cloud, as well as we'll see how Facebook and Akamai forms a hybrid cloud. Next, we'll see orchestration and virtualization in detail. What is infrastructure as a service? First, we'll study this. So, infrastructure is basically online services that provide high level API for dereferencing, means abstracting some of the lower level resources, for example, physical computing resources, locations, data partitioning that helps to scale up with multiple machines working together. Security feature, it hides or abstracts. Backup, it do. So all these things are dereferenced or abstracted from the user, and this is what hiding the lower level detail of infrastructure. Then IaaS basically deals with two things: cloud orchestration as well as virtualization. So virtualization and cloud orchestration we'll see just next. Examples of IaaS and cloud. So IaaS and cloud basically uses these two things: cloud orchestration and virtualization. Technologies are example like Eucalyptus. Eucalyptus uses hypervisor of KVM, Zen, VMware. It's a kind of private cloud, and it also forms a hybrid cloud with Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. There is another OpenStack, which is having OpenStack native REST APIs, and it also forms hybrid cloud with CloudFormation compatible API. And then Apache Cloud Stack, which is also very good for virtualization using KVM, VMware. And then there's Open Nebula, which is using hypervisor of VMware, KVM, and so on. These are the detailed example of IaaS which is available online. If you wish, you can go and see them. Next, we'll see orchestration in detail. It's kind of automation and configuration and coordination and management of these things. What type of things in cloud computing has to deal with orchestration, management, and coordination or configuration? Service oriented architecture, virtualization, provisioning, converged infrastructure, then dynamic data center. All these things are need to be managed properly by a backend IaaS provider. So this is what it means by orchestration of services. To meet certain requirement of applications, data, infrastructure of the user, then what is the difference between the things of workflow automation and orchestration? Basically, workflow automation is just a subset part of orchestration in cloud computing. So what is workflow automation? It's a kind of process or certain thing which helps to have a single domain automation. Means workflow means the process, that this process should execute first, this process should execute second, then third process, then fourth process, and how the scheduling should go on in the server or the cloud. So this is how the workflow automation been done. And what it helps in orchestration. Means orchestration includes workflow to provide certain direction of action from process 1 to process 2, process 3 to process 4. So this is how the switching between the processes and scheduling tasks. So this is like towards the larger goal and objective, means how to manage the whole server or cloud computing. So this is what it means by orchestration. Next, virtualization. So virtualization, you runs a machine over another machine. Means you have a machine working on the hardware or real machine. Means you have a virtual machine on top of the original silicon based machine. So you have a large infrastructure, suppose, with too many servers, and you want to combine that large infrastructure, too many servers together, such that you can have some smaller virtual machines. How you can do? You can do it with the help of hypervisors. So hypervisors actually runs one or more virtual machines that are called host machine. Means host machine are the having real infrastructure, like it is having RAM, it is having real hard disk, it is having real processor. Host machine have a real networking system, so it is silicon based. And what is virtual machine? It's a guest machine on top of the host machine. The guest machine is said to be the virtual machine, And there are two type of hypervisors available, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is native or bare metal hypervisor. Type 2 is hosted hypervisor. So these are the figure which are demonstrating the type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. So type 1 hypervisor is bare metal deployment, where on the hardware you deploy some hypervisor which can have multiple operating system 1, operating system 2, operating system 3, operating system 4. So there are many operating system could be possible in the type 1. But in the type 2, you have a hardware, then you already install operating system. For example, you installed Windows, and on Windows you install VMware virtual machine box to have different hypervisor. So you install two hypervisor, and on those hypervisor you can install one operating system, two operating system, or three operating system. In type 2, above the operating system, you can install one, two, or three hypervisors. And on top of those hypervisor, you can install one, two, three, four, five operating system, many operating system. So I hope you have understood the difference between type 1 and type 2 virtualization. Next, this is type 1 native bare metal hypervisors available, which actually runs directly on the host hardware, that is, runs directly on the silicon to control hardware and manage the resources of guest operating system. So the first example of such hypervisor was being produced in 1960s, that is termed as Simon and IBM CP40, means open source Simon, and then it was being worked out with IBM, and then CP40 commercial product came up. After 1960, we have seen many hypervisors like Microsoft Hyper-V, Xbox One system software, VMware ESXi, and Nutanix AHV, XCP, and then there are many Oracle-based VM and Power-based hypervisors. And Zen is also one of the most famous and common Type 1 hypervisor. Then what is type 2 hypervisor? It actually runs on the conventional operating system like Windows, Linux. So type 2 runs on operating system Windows and Linux. You first install Windows or Linux on your hardware like in the normal way. Then you install what? Type 2 hypervisor. When you install type 2 hypervisor, it gives you privilege to have another machine on top of that hypervisor. Another machine, what? Guest machine with having some operating system and applications. What are the example of type 2 hosted hypervisor? It's Oracle VirtualBox, Parallel Desktop for Mac, QEMU, VirtualBox, VMware Player, VMware Workstation. So these are the basic type 2 and most popular hosted hypervisors. Then there's a possibility where an hypervisor can act and behave like both type 1 and type 2 because of the kernel module modification. You modify some of the features of the kernel, and then it becomes type 1, and then it becomes type 2. You modify something and you can change from type 1 to type 2. So you can customize them. So most famous were the Linux KVM. So Linux KVM you can modify by your convenience and make it type 1 and type 2. Very old free BSD. So it is like Beehive, means it's a product of Berkeley software distribution. So this is act like both type 1 and type 2 hypervisor. Next, so we'll see hybrid Eucalyptus and Amazon EC2. So Amazon basically have EC2 and it has EBS. Amazon have EC2, EBS and S3. So what is Amazon EC2? Elastic Compute Cloud. What is Elastic Compute Cloud of Amazon? It is based upon the pay per usage, which is like renting some of the virtual machines available, and you can run those virtual machines and having some applications working on it. Then EC2 is also elastic, which is having scalability for the deployment of applications with the help of web services. Amazon Machine Images. So Amazon Machine Images are having the instances which has been contain some desired software application working together. So these instances are like images of a operating system and which is having certain applications on them. which is actually desired software for what you are hiring Amazon EC2. So what Amazon EC2 do? It creates, launch and terminates instances, means images of Amazon machines. And those instances contains what? Desired software or applications. Then Amazon switch its own services and its own retail website to the EC2 and Amazon Web Service. Means Amazon had earlier a good website working in around 2000, and then they find that EC2 is really working very fine. So Amazon itself switched its own retail website to the EC2 and Amazon Web Service. Then Amazon Elastic Block Storage. What it does, it provides raw blockage for storage purpose, and it provides a convenient way to store some of the files, large files, and some of the important documents on EC2 based connected elastic block storage. What it does, it provide instances used by Amazon Relational Database Services. So this is the in detail feature of Amazon. Then Amazon also have as the simple storage service, which is having storage infrastructure, and you can store simple files and document in the Amazon S3 using web service interface. So in Amazon EBS Elastic Block Storage, you can have relational type of database services as well. But in the simple storage Elastic S3 service, it's a simple web service interface and you can store some simple documents. Next, you have web service components of Eucalyptus. We'll see what are the components. We had already discussed this part in the series 2, part 2 of this coursework. Now we'll see more detail how this has been connected to the Amazon Web Service. So if you want, you can refer to the chapter 2 or unit 2 for the Eucalyptus. This is like a cloud controller, CLC, and its cloud controller is the first part, and it is useful for the administrator or developer or project manager, means a top level hierarchy of the manager of the infrastructure as a service, and it helps to manage virtualization between of resources like server, network or storage. And it do what? High level scheduling of decisions to take at the top manager level and administrator level. So this is the basic structure. You remember this structure, that in the top UI and API was there. We had already discussed this figure earlier in chapter 2. In the topmost UI and API, you have management console and AWS compatible APIs. Then you have cloud, which is having the topmost layer as cloud controller, and then scalable object storage for management purpose. Then you have cluster of cluster controller, storage controller. Then you have in the lowermost part nodes, real machines. And the real machines, what you have in the node controller, you have virtual machines, many virtual machines working together to provide some of the high end goals. So this is the stack and the basic structure of the Eucalyptus. Next, we'll see cluster controller. What is cluster controller? As the part of that stack, it executes machine and having the network connectivity of those virtual machines running on node controller and with the help of CLC. So node controller and CLC will operate the whole process of virtual machine network and scheduling of resources. This is cluster controller. Next, you have a storage controller, in which is an interface of various storage systems like NFS. You have IS, CSI, SAN device. If you want, you can go and study further, but our coursework is still here. And then we'll see Walrus. It allows persistent storage, which is having bucket of blocks and object of virtual machines for storing images and user data. Then you have node controller. Node controller basically executes virtual machine and instances for controlling the VM's activity for the execution and inspection and termination. The three things like cloud controller, cluster controller, and node controller are the basic managers of that stack and the component management component of that Eucalyptus. Means what? Cloud controller, cluster controller, and node controller, and you can also say storage controller. So basically these are the management components of Eucalyptus. Next, if you want to see the AWS Eucalyptus compatibility, so AWS has a compatible with Eucalyptus in terms of like you have different features. You have three different features: elasticity, elastic block storage, and then storage. So the three components, three basic features were being connected together using some services between Amazon and Eucalyptus to perform some of the compatibility as an hybrid cloud computing model. EC2 is basically connected with CC, cloud controller or cluster controller. So EC2 is connected with CC. EC2 of Amazon Web Service is connected to the Eucalyptus CC. Then Amazon Web Service EBS is being connected with the storage controller of Eucalyptus. Then Amazon Web Service S3 was being connected with the Eucalyptus Walrus. So this is an example where the diagram shows Amazon Web Service public cloud is being connected, means Amazon Web Service component in the topmost part as EC2, EBS and S3. You have elastic compute, you have elastic block storage, and you have storage. So you have controller, cloud controller, you have storage controller and Walrus. Means EC2 is connected for elastic compute with the cloud controller, and EBS is having elastic block storage with the storage controller, and S3 having storage with the Walrus. Next, like the tool that we are discussing for the compatibility is like implemented on the top of a Eucalyptus, and that you can modify, configure according to yourself because it is an open source tools. So Amazon Web Service tools are how to configure and use such Eucalyptus devices are given on this link, and you can read in detail about the AWS tools. So these are too many tools. This is not just one or two or three. There are many open source tools available for doing hybrid cloud computing. Then the consumer uses such compatible tool for image management or script handling. So these tools are basically in the top of the Eucalyptus cloud ecosystem, and which actually communicates with the AWS and to establish the hybrid cloud model. Next, so these are the three most important that we'll discuss, means tool part. So what are the three most important tool parts? Auto scaling, elastic load balancing, and CloudWatch. So adding instances or doing virtual machine traffic handling or management. When you have a normal system of Eucalyptus, you just add more instances, means more machines and more virtual machines to handle the traffic demanded to increase. But private cloud has the limit. So you need to go to the public cloud, which offers a large infrastructure like Amazon Web Service. So you can have auto scaling. To have the auto scaling of Eucalyptus cloud resource means increasing resource up or resource down, means increasing of the scale of resources, means you increase resource by resource up, or you do decreasing of the resource at Amazon Web Service resource down. This is to maintain the performance and meet some service level agreement. Then Amazon EC2 is basically compatible APIs and the tools. Then you have a second tool part like elastic load balancing. So what it does, it distributes some incoming applications, traffic services to maintain the some of the workload features of Eucalyptus private cloud, and having management of the elasticity for the traffic and service calls across the virtual machines of Eucalyptus instances. Then we see CloudWatch. CloudWatch is another part of the resource handling, which is actually resource and application monitor. You can see how the resources, virtual machines, and the network and the server, RAM, and all these things are going inside the whole hybrid cloud. So it's like a collection of service which provides you matrix for the different values, like matrices for setting and provide setting of alarms, identify trends. Then you can take action according to those matrices values or set alarms or identify trend. Those trends you can take certain applications and ensure that the continuity and smooth running of the hybrid cloud. So next, this is the example that you see of HP Helion Eucalyptus. So this contains auto scaling, elastic load balancing, and CloudWatch. On top, you have a running application. and you have AWS compatible API. So you just need to have a data center, you just need to have a physical infrastructure, you just need to have virtualization. Then with the help of auto scaling, elastic load balancing and CloudWatch, you can combine all these thing feature with the AWS compatible APIs to have a hybrid cloud computing model. For this, you need only one identification key or access key for management. So the cloud consumer asks for the hybrid management console. According to the demand, admin will provide, means do the certain resource scheduling or processing that consumer can directly communicate with your data center or AWS compatible API to connect with the AWS, so that the whole hybrid model could be completed. Means your own private infrastructure with the data center, physical infrastructure, virtualization, you're having AWS connectivity with AWS compatible API. So next we have a content delivery network or content distribution network. Then we'll see hybrid Akamai Facebook connection working together. We'll discuss this content delivery network and hybrid Akamai Facebook hybrid cloud in the next class. So today we'll finish our discussion over here, and next class we'll see content delivery network or content distribution network and Facebook Akamai. For today, we'll finish the class, and thanks all of you.